All right, it says we are live. Check if you can hear us. Just a quick check.
Oh, I can hear you.
In the YouTube. You can hear us in the YouTube?
Oh, I'm not watching it on YouTube. I'm just in Discord.
Let me check your loud and clear. Thank you, Mick C Mac. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Oh, and see this is what I mean. Look at the chat. It's already acting up. The I try to edit it here. 1 second, let me. There we go. Looking oh nice. Welcome everybody to our podcast. We're gonna start with the new frenzy feature. Due to short notice of time, so Jack is gonna show us a video of when he had the frenzy where they introduced the towers, and he's gonna explain away and answer some questions. If you guys have some questions, you can write them in the chat, and we'll go from there. So whenever you're ready, Jack, you can take away.
Hey guys. So earlier or actually last month, we had a battle frenzy with the towers. I think it was 246. I can't remember the nation, but it was the uh, the world with Yugo. So I'm sharing my screen now. Can you let me know in the chat if you can see it? Can anybody see it? Okay, cool. So I'm just going to kind of run over some stuffs as I go along in the video. But essentially, every world gets 3 towers, and I'm pretty sure it's based off of BP for the largest alliances in your world. This is our tower. You start off with, depending on the size of your alliance, like ours, I think probably the max is 500 million, which that's what we started out with. And then uh, the lower your BP is in your alliance, the lower the points you have for the tower. So it could be 250 million, something like that. And the reason for the points is you run and you occupy the towers, uh, and then as soon as you occupy the tower, it drains the points. And once you get down to 0 points, then any attacks or any defenses on the towers are done. And all the points that you get from attacks and defenses are included in your battle frenzy points, and there's no reduction in points for defense. So like the typical battle frenzy things where you get much less points for defense. Inside the towers, the points are equal, so don't worry about defending. Um, so let's see here. Here is one of the enemy's towers that we had, OFA, and you can see here they only have 76 million points. So they were either really low BP alliance or were about an hour into Battle Frenzy. So maybe we've reduced their points, but you can tell there's a huge disparity. Like our NX3 had about 500 million and they were at 76 million. So big disparity there. So there wasn't much time for them to defend on theirs. So let me see if I can skip ahead to something here. There's just some of the attacks that we had. And it really does, in my opinion, make the event much more fun because you're not just searching the map all the time. So here's the main or one of the main screens. And you can see here on the left-hand side, NX3, we're guarding our tower. And then stacked on top of those are POT and LFM. Those are our other 3 world alliances. And they're actually in a truce, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But on the right-hand side, you can see the enemy's towers, and you can see NX3 is occupying all 3 towers right now. So as we're occupying those towers, their points are draining, and you can, I don't have like a marker, but you can see the plundered points just below this at 55 million. And then, let's see. Oh, one of the biggest questions I get is, the verbiage they use is alliance points in their towers. When you lose alliance points in those towers, you don't lose alliance points like in your shop and stuff like that. A lot of people are asking that because it's kind of a concern for some, but you don't actually lose it. And to this point, I don't know what it means to go down to 0. Like there isn't like a big bonus or fireworks or anything like that. You just, as soon as you're done, as soon as the tower's drained, it's just done. There's no more attacks and defenses. See, I'm just going to keep this rolling. And like I was saying before, so the attacks and defenses on the towers, it does equate into your overall battle frenzy points. And probably one of the biggest things you're going to see is that this kind of new format really benefits really strong alliances, because the strong alliances can just occupy all 3 of the enemy towers, and they're just going to defend all day, and they're just going to rack up points all day long. And you can probably see, like at the end of this event, NX3 probably had about 17 billion points just on itself. I mean, we outscored every other alliance combined. So it's really skewed towards really strong type alliances. Whether that's good or bad, you can debate that. Run through. Just some more attacks. So I want to get to one particular screen. Okay, here we go. This is kind of an important thing. When you first set up for Battle Frenzy, you set what's called a truce window. During the truce window, you can't attack and you can't be attacked. So it actually kind of makes sense to kind of coordinate with your other alliances within your world to, depending on how you're set up, to either set your truces at the same time so that everybody takes a break. But if you have 3 really strong alliances, then you probably want to spread them out, because each alliance can kind of defend on their own. So you don't necessarily need to have like the protection of the large alliance. Let's see. Okay, Boogie has a question from YouTube chat. Question for Simplejack: does he know approximately how many points gained from towers? The points are the same as attacks, right? So whenever you win, however many troops you kill and that sort of thing, that's the points that you're going to get. So going back to these truce windows, it's kind of important. Like you can kind of see that like our world pretty much put all of our truces at the beginning, except for the first like hour or so, because in our world, typically like right at reset, it's pretty busy. Then it kind of tapers off. In 246, they actually put one of their truce windows at the end, which didn't really matter anyway because they were drained. But I don't think that's really a great strategy because, well, it could be. It just depends on how you look at it. But everybody kind of starts to lose interest in the event, and you don't get as much activity. So you're not going to get a lot of attacks then. So it really depends on how you think you're going to fare. But this is a kind of an important piece of it, to coordinate your truce windows with your other alliances. Another question that I got from some viewers, can you stack attacks? Like, for instance, can your worlds, 3 of your alliances attack the same tower at the same time? You can't stack them. it's gonna work just like in global, where somebody will come in, wait for your attack to be done, and then the other alliance will start their attack as soon as yours is done. Trying to see if I can find anything that's interesting during the event. Oh, one thing that I haven't been able to verify, but I think I kind of saw it happen this way, is if the more troops that you have in the enemy tower, I think the points drain faster. Again, I haven't verified this, but for what little testing that I did, it did seem to happen. So, like for instance, if you have one city inside of the tower, your enemy tower, versus having full fleets, then you're going to drain it faster. But that being said, I think another question was how many fleets can you have inside the tower? And it's typically the same as capital, where it's whoever has the largest bus, that's going to be the size, or that's going to be the amount. Let's see. There's a question: defense based on dispatch center. Yeah. Yep. Defense is based on dispatch center, or I call it a bus, where whoever has the largest bus is going to have it's going to determine your march. One of the things that kind of strategies that we saw is, and if I can get to the points, like individual points, you're going to see a lot of whales. All they're going to do all event is just keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting towers, because every time they hit, they may lose, but they're going to get a ton of points. And you'll see, if I ever come to it, you'll see where the whales from the other world, they were well over 2 billion points on their own. And that's kind of a bad consequence, depending on if you're actually trying to win the event or not. All right. I'm going to stop sharing now and kind of get back into the podcast so I can hear everybody. Does anybody have any other kind of questions? I think I can hear everybody now.
So if you guys want to unmute yourself and ask a question, go ahead.
I don't think I have anything to ask. That was very informative. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it makes it more fun. You're not just sitting and hunting for cities all day long, and it kind of takes the onus away from all those cities that are just kind of giving up points. Now they actually can kind of fight for it inside of a tower. So it's pretty cool. I think it's a good change for Camel.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play this.
Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I got
very
some time to
excited.
hang out. So
All right, then. Guess we'll start with the main topic of the podcast, which is what is a successful nation? But before we do that, today in this podcast, I have 3 new guests, one from 249, one from 255, and one from 219. Um, I'm gonna ask them to give themselves a brief introduction about themselves and about their world. So I'll start with Polo, who is a player from 249.
269. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hi.
269. Why am I thinking 249? I'm so
Hello,
sorry.
everyone. That's
Yes,
okay.
269.
I don't want to be associated with 249 though. No, I'm just kidding. To all the listeners from 249. Yeah, I'm from 269. Polo, also known as Cocaine Bear. I don't know which name is more well known, but I go by both. I'm originally from 234. We merged into 269, thinking that we were gaming the system. It didn't really work that way. But I like 269 because it includes the number 69, of course. We're a cool nation. Everyone gets along. We do good in Void War. We do good in some events, and I like it. It's good.
Thank you, Polo. And then now we have Leo from 255, who is in the Alliance HIM, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you give us a brief introduction?
Hello, everyone. My name is Leo Dawn. Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Leo Dawn. I am from Nation 255 and HIM Alliance, a very well-organized alliance which everyone likes to join, but there's limited spots available always.
Thank
And
you,
it's a
Leo.
very peaceful nation overall.
Yes, very peaceful nation. And then we have Coalition from 219.
Hello. Thanks for having me here. I'm Coalition from 219. I started this game in 186, and when 186 merged into 219 last year in October, I got to be a part of 219, which is a nation that many, including myself, regard as being successful. We're good, but unlike 255, I wouldn't call us peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah, 219 is kind of like 52. We're not peaceful. We kill everything. Okay. All right. So, someone came to me last night and wanted me to do a small sponsor. And that's why I was thinking I was saying 249 instead of 269. I'm so sorry, Polo. Seriously. Because a player from 249 wanted me to do a sponsor. So without further ado, let me put some sad music because it's kind of like a sad sponsor. 1 second. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear that?
No, I cannot hear it.
How about now?
Nope.
Dang. I have over here sad music and it's not playing. Ah. So, okay, so I guess I'll just start without sad music. Just pretend there's sad music in here. Ah, jeez, I'm so sorry. I just woke up and not enough coffee in me to keep moving on. Okay, so this little sponsor is for 249. So hello, my name's Nikki. Will you be an angel for a helpless 249 player? Every day, innocent 249 players are being beaten, neglected due to the lack of merger. Please call the number on your screen to sponsor a 249 refugee today to provide monthly rich rewards of food and oil, and most importantly, love. So they need the love, right? So I welcome you to receive, if you call now, you will receive a welcome gift of an emotional support hamster and feet pics of Rice is Great, who is a 249 player. And in the next 5 seconds, and we'll throw in the 249 Lost Boys album cover called 255. Please stop sending us your farmers. Thank you. And that was all. So you can thank Rice is Great for the sponsor. Great. So let's go to topics.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Oh yeah, thank you, Anonymous. See, I have a great commercial voice, right? I'm joking. All right, where are the topics? So, since yours is a little sick, I'm gonna be asking the questions. I don't wanna sore her throat more than it is. So, our topic today is what makes a nation successful. I have these three guests that are what we would consider a successful nation. What defines it could be global events like conquest, void, frenzy, which is kind of questionable. Any other events are more of an alliance event. There's also Chaos Land and Blood Wars. I don't know the name, I forgot. But anything that has to do with a nation. So basically, the nation working together to win said event. And those are the only three I can think of that you're working with your nation to win, you know? So the first question would be the need to have nation rules. Does a nation need to have rules? Is it important to have rules or not? So I'll start with, let's do 255. Leon, does your nation have rules?
Yes, absolutely. We do have rules. It is basically necessary for any nation to survive. Otherwise, we see nations dying constantly in servers. Without rules, everybody is on their own, especially controlling the big whales. Many people have seen how we zeroed rule breakers as well. That did create some chaos in there. So definitely having rules about not giving away points, having consistency, getting points for 255, and not being a cheater and trying to get points just by defending and leaving your bubbles open. That's the main rules we have here.
All right, thank you. Polo, does 269 have rules? And if you can name one rule from your nation that you think is the most important.
Well, I think the most important one is, sharing all the drugs and alcohol. But besides that, I mean, purging, getting ready for what I consider to be the most important thing is void war. Getting everyone accustomed to fielding and, fighting properly. I would think that is the most important rule.
Yes, purging is very important for all nations.
Yeah.
All right.
Besides
Oh,
that, you can have rules like
yes.
farm rules. That's really important. But yeah, that's it.
Do you have farm rules?
Well, we're just merging now. 269 is merging with 242 on July 7th. We are currently discussing what farm rules we want. Eventually, we would like to have any city below 34 to be considered a farm, and then, they would only be allowed to have T1 to 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a work in progress.
All right, sounds good. Coalition. You and I, 219, 52, we kind of run the same rules, right?
Yeah, and I also think that it's good to have rules. I mean, yeah, it's all good for people to have fun, but when some rock people believe that it's all good to do whatever they want, and then their actions may not go in the desired way. And I think the sentiment that people should play in whatever ways they want could be a little dangerous for nations with goals. So there have to be rules. And yeah, like you said, 219 and 52, we operate in pretty much the same way.
So, meaning you kill anybody that bleeds, right?
And so we basically have 24/7 purge against all alliances other than GBF, which is another fighting alliance in 219. And before Battle Frenzy and Void, both SYN and GBF have purge that is applied to both of us. So top alliances are no exceptions to being attacked in Battle Frenzy or Void anyways, and this is why we don't have this attacks on top 4 not allowed rule. And yeah, and we also forbid reinforcing against each other's attacks because anyone dropping shield should learn that there should be consequences.
And there always should be consequences, yes. Let's see.
I'm just gonna step in here and just say that's so badass.
All right, so did you have any initial rules that just didn't work out at all for whatever reason that you had to claw back? Meaning, I guess when you guys started a nation started, or you had a recent merger and you started putting in rules, was there a rule that you guys saw that it wasn't working out and you just took it out? I guess like a farmer rule, like, hey guys, if you chill and bubble or don't do this, or you can farm at set timing, but if you're given that rule that they can farm at this hour, they're just not gonna follow. They're just gonna farm whenever. So I'll ask Polo. Polo, do you had a rule that you had to like remove, or
I
whatever
can't,
you decided was already, established and it
I can't
stayed?
really think of a good example. I can't really think of a good example other than, we always did a 24-hour purge, before Void War. And I think at one point in time, we made it 23 hours just so people can do their daily stuff, and just to, stop hearing all the bitching. But I don't think there's a big difference between 24 and 23. You could still kill anyone who needs to be killed. So I think that's probably the closest thing to a clawback that we have done.
What about you, Leon?
Yeah, the most drawback or hate we observed was the implementation of having T4 troops in farm alliances. Especially some alliances did not like comply to it, but we still went through with it from our alliance and our academy and other friendly alliances. But we still have that rule, and hopefully they all implement that still, because right now we were still purging those troops and still get hate messages right now.
I mean, they will always message you. Doesn't matter what you do. They will always send you messages saying, "Why did
Yes,
you hit
definitely.
me?"
That's the motivation. You're doing something good, you get hate.
We love it when we get a hate mail, don't we?
Oh, definitely.
You're a peaceful guy?
I'm very peaceful.
Ah. What about you, Coalition?
So I don't think 219 had any rules where we had to claw back, but we did have more alliances that we forbid from purging 24/7 in the beginning of the merger. But for example, based on how we see them dropping shields and doing stupid things in cross nations events, we would start to exclude them from not to be hit list, and then now we have just GBF left.
Wow. You already killed your whole nation in such a short time.
Well, it's still peaceful though.
Still peaceful, better than what we have right now, right? All right, let's go to the next topic.
Oh,
Or
we
is
do
there a
have
question?
we've got one question from Bella734. How do you establish or implement the rules when you have trolls who choose to thumb their nose at them?
I think Oxy can answer that, right, Oxy? Okay, I think I
Yeah, I
lost.
mean, I don't think you can set your policy around what trolls are going to do. Every nation's going to have trolls. Trolls are just a part of it. They're held to the same rules, and they just get loud about it and bitch when they get caught out for it, right? Rules, I think the two sort of go together, trolls and rules, because that's how people vocally say that they're not happy with them, right? Go to their little troll city and complain about it. But yeah, it shouldn't change what you're doing or what you plan to do. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like it or thinks it should be more lenient, and but those people are usually casuals and don't have the same nation goals that the rest of us do.
What about you, Polo?
Yeah, I was just going to say, trolls, they have to be just by the definition of their name, a minority, right? So, like Oxy was saying, we can't really be guided by what a troll is saying. They're just there for our entertainment. We read what they write, then we can laugh about it. I would hope that most players and nations are reasonable and can't really take to heart what trolls are saying. Especially if they're using alternate like level 10 cities just to or whatever to post nonsense.
Leon?
Yeah, whenever I get those trolls, I always suggest them, if you really think like these rules are not good, why don't you form your own alliances and run with it and see who scores more points, and then I'll advocate for you as well if you are that good of a player.
And coalition.
I think the answer depends on how strong or influential the troll is. So, for example, when the trolls are a group of not so strong farmers or maybe like C10s, then you can ignore them and just burn them. But if like this troll or a group of trolls is a group of strong C38s, then yeah, you will have to show them that your way is right and also show that their way is wrong, either by maybe like going through war or like what Leo Don said, proving them that your way scores more points for the nation.
Basically, just say your way, your way, or the highway.
Rozer says that the solution is to be a bigger troll.
Well, yeah, to beat the smaller trolls, you need to beat the bigger one. All right. Any other question in that?
No, I think we can move on.
All right. Moving on. Okay. So the next question is it better to have one mega alliance or more? And how many do you think to provide a win for server events? So I'm guessing sometimes it's better to have one mega alliance that works out for Void and Frenzy. However, it doesn't work out for, let's say, Global Conquest. As I have observed that in Global Conquest, the more main alliance or fighting alliance that you have, the better outcome you have in winning the finale. But let's go ask Leo. I keep saying her name wrong. I don't know why. It's such an easy name, right? We can Leo, you can answer that question.
Yeah, definitely. There's a saying like there's strength in numbers, and then for like basically for global conquest, we do need more players, as the game already suggests. We need 250 players. You can't get 250 players in one alliance. If you go purging all of your server, you won't be able to win. That's why we haven't been winning global conquest, but we have been runner-up for 2 consecutive times. But in recent times, we got more active players, we got the merger, and from there on, we planned on getting 2 main alliances and the third one just to hold small energy towers and just go at it.
So you're saying you rather have how many fighting alliances would that be? Are you saying you can have 4, 5, 7, or 2 main alliances to make it work?
As you said, like in Void War, as 219 is a great example for it. They're like one single alliance. They have been winning. Their kill rate is so high. But for example, in Global Conquest, we do need more alliances for winning it. But ideally, I prefer only 3 alliances.
3 alliances. All right. What about you, Polo? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it depends on the event and the nation. For Void War, for example, it could be different in different nations. One nation can, based on their activity level, they can fit all the best players in one alliance, and that's all they need, right? In 269, UBN is our top alliance on the leader of, and we have probably most of the strongest cities in 269 in UBN, but our second alliance, I've seen them show up. They're named Law, LAW. I've seen them show up in numbers between 50 and 80. So the activity's there. They just don't have as high as city levels as UBN does. So to wrap that up, I think it just depends on the nation, right? Probably best if all the top players are in one alliance, but if you have the activity level there, you can have a second and a third alliance. So I think it all depends, and probably somewhere between 1 and 3.
Coalition?
I'll say it depends on events. So I think it's better to have one mega alliance to pose challenges against opponents in events like Void and EW. For example, during Void, in order to fight against alliances that are in top 10 of EW ranking, so examples would be AOD, COR, and others. Yeah, so to fight against them, you would need a strong group of fighters in one team. You won't be able to break a stone with multiple eggs. Rather, you have to combine those eggs into one mega egg to break the stone. But if a nation is recently merged and it regards global conquest as important, then I'll say having two or maybe three wouldn't be so bad. But since 219 is focused on Void, we have one mega alliance, and our way has been working quite well.
Yeah, for us in 52, we have Eating One and Hob, and then probably the little crumbs that we left hanging and alive as well, right, Oxy?
Yeah,
Oxy?
we don't have a ton of support, past Hob. On this one, I think again, like others have mentioned, it's going to be based on what your nation goals are, and what the event is that you're looking to focus on. But it did seem in Conquest this year that being a little bit fatter can't hurt.
Yeah. I think the more alliances you leave alive, the more, I don't know, the more you have to kind of babysit people around because, something can happen in Void or in Frenzy. You leave them alive long enough, they have activity, so they decide to do this one defense that, if it fails the defense, and then you already behind in points. So there's like some pros and cons in having this many alliances or not having. I think three should be like the magic number, or two, like everybody says, depending the event. I think three works out well with Global, Frenzy, and Void. But going over that's too many, too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. All right, let's go to the other question. Keep losing the little
I
paper
have
I have.
when I was writing down this particular question, I noticed that, and we may have to get Jack to confirm this, or we can confirm it after we're all done Frenzy. But the new Frenzy mechanic, it only gives the top 3 alliances a guard tower, but it allows the top 5 alliances to fight for them. So I do find that kind of interesting because I don't know any nation in either an old world or a new world that's got 5 fighting alliances.
That is true. If I recall correctly, you can, I think you can defend their towers, but that probably does not
Correct.
make
So
sense.
the top 3 alliances all get their own town. But the top 5 alliances can attack the other nation's tower.
Mm, gotcha. Let's see how it works out in a few hours, right?
Yeah, should be fun.
Yep, should be fun. Okay, let's talk about capital rotations. Since a lot of us have gone through what to do with capital, or should we rotate it, should we share it, or fight against me if you want it. If you win, you can get it. If not, then I keep it. So, do you guys agree in having a capital rotation? Does that help the nation, move forward and be successful if you implement capital rotation? I'll start with coalition.
I guess it depends on the nation structure. So by that, we're just talking about, is it better to have one mega alliance or maybe like more than that? And for us, 219, we make use of president during the strongest commander week. So I'll say that's like Monday, from Monday to Saturday during Void and Frenzy week. And yeah, so we make use of the president position to distribute to people that would make good use of cabinet positions. Then after Saturday, we usually have DSM or Bear as presidents, since they would inflict biggest damage against opponent realms. So like I said, it will depend on the nation structure and overall and who scores the most for which nation, something like that.
So, since Polo's the one having a merger really soon, do you guys plan to have capital rotations?
We do. We do it currently in 269, and we're going to be doing it after the merge as well. I kind of see capital rotations as like the carrot in front of the horse, right? You want to motivate everyone else to, do better, protect themselves and avoid war and stuff like that. And, by giving them, the cities and the capital, it's kind of like an incentive. Hey, listen, you're going to get this reward. Do good work for us. You might not be a fighting alliance, but just keep that damn bubble up. That's the way I see it. That's the way we do it.
I see. I mean, it works out if you have two main alliances rotating with each other. So, do you plan on having two main alliances?
To start, we're going to be rotating it among 4 alliances.
Oh,
And that's
do
going to be
tell.
according to board war, the points or whatever. Whoever did the best in Void War, they're going to be the 4 alliances that get the ranking, the capital rotation for the following month. We're merging together the top 2 alliances of both nations. So it's a little tricky in figuring out, what is everyone else going to get. So, and personally, I don't really care about being president or having the president in our alliance. I'd rather have some type of reward for the other alliances so that, again, like I said before, they're motivated to follow our rules. Because I would rather have stricter rules that everyone's willing to follow rather than having rules that they don't want to follow and having to kill everyone, although that's a good alternative too.
But it will always come to that in the end.
Yeah, most likely.
Never fails. What about you, Leo?
Yes, exactly like Coalition and Polo said. It's the same over here as well. When the merger happened, we did rotate between 4 alliances, but then again we went back to rewarding the most scoring alliance. And then whoever the top 2 is in Void War, we rotate between them, and top 3 get a city each. And I think that's good too. Like, people are motivated, alliances are motivated. Let's score more for 255. Let's get the president next.
I can't say the same for us in 52. We're a dead nation, so it's just basically rotating between us and Hub. Nothing too fancy. So we get a merger, right? We're just dead now. Okay. Do you want to say anything about it, Oxy?
Yeah, same. I think if there's value in it, you've got enough alliances that can effectively use the buffs and be motivated by the reward, then yeah, it makes sense. I've done governor rotations before on the cities and other nations. But yeah, again, it just depends on your nation structure, how many, I guess qualified would be the best word, alliances there are for the position.
Yeah. And we've been playing this game for way too long that it will always come to, let's say your third alliance starts failing, meaning they start bleeding points in Void, they start bleeding points in Frenzy, they can't shield, and they're just being rebels. And then you have the whole drama, oh, then let's take away their rotation privileges and then or take away their city and stuff like that. It always happens. It's like a whole bag of drama, but it keeps the game entertaining, right?
You like the drama, I'm not a fan, but yeah.
Yeah, we are fans of drama. We live for the drama, the tea, the hot popping tea. All right. Let's talk about something everybody loves. Civil War. We all have experienced civil war, unless you're Leo, who never experienced civil war because he's very peaceful. I'm joking. Uh, so, civil wars. What are the pros? What are the cons? We know from my experience, I have been in many civil wars. It will always happen. No matter what you do, it will always come to a civil war in your nation. It may not be in your alliance, it could be the other two alliances at the bottom having a civil war, and you're just in the back watching them. Or sometimes you have to get involved. Because as a nation leader, if you don't resolve something, it will just get worse because everybody's just friends with everybody. Let's say you have a top player who is friends with somebody in the top threes, and they're having a civil war with top four, and then your player leaves. See, there's a lot to do. There's a lot going on with civil wars. So I'll start with Leo. Leo, civil war. What's the pros? What's the cons? Did 255 ever have a civil war? And can you tell me an experience from that time?
Yeah, I have experienced two civil wars in 255. One, I wasn't a part of it, but I watched it very closely. It was between him and Rek. Rek is no more, so you know what happened with that one. And then the second one, we had one with DMZ, again with bleeding points for the nation. That was the main cause of it. We did point out everything to all our allies and all the other alliances, and they agreed with it too. So we eventually zeroed the culprit, and his mentors and DMZ is no more as well. These are the only two I can talk about. And again, it's all based on the rules. Follow them, and nation remains peaceful. We acted on the rules that do not bleed points, so that civil war ended very quickly.
What about you, Polo? Has 269 ever dealt with a civil war? Or have you been part of one? Did you cause one? Were you the cause of one?
Now you would think that I would be the cause of one. No, but no. I have never caused a war. I have never been in a civil war. And I'm from 234. That's where UBN came from before we merged into 269. The closest thing to a civil war that we had was something that we ended up calling the farm wars. The top two alliances, UBN and OBL, we just attacked each other's farms. I don't know why. That's just what happened. But other than that, I always tell people any issue can be resolved through communication, right? Kind of corny, but I think it's true. And we've never, any conflict that we've had, we've resolved. And it's just worked out that way. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but besides the epic farm wars, we've never had a civil war in 234 or 269. Now, when we merged into 269, they had a previous civil war. I think we helped smooth things over. And for anyone who knows 242, they've had civil war for, I think, 16 or so months, and which was resolved a few months ago. And now we're merging into them. So hopefully we can continue to help them keep things peaceful if it's necessary. But we'll see. But yeah, no civil war here.
No civil war. Coalition. Knowing 219, you guys shut it down quickly. Or, civil war is not within your field. You just shut it down.
So, to talk about my personal experiences, so I had a civil war in 186, which is a nation that I originally come from. I did lose friends, but in the end, I think the results were positive because many deadweights from both sides were gone, and after civil war, like the two alliances that fought merged, and that brought better results. And I don't know if I should call my current situation in 219 a civil war, but in any ways, I think killing farmers and staying alert of farmer rebellion helped 219 stay disciplined. And to talk about the pros and cons, by the way, I think civil war keeps the nation more disciplined than ever, so it makes it difficult for opponents to find targets in events like Battle Frenzy and Void. And it also reminds people that this is a war game, not a like not a chatting game or whatever the way they see, and that gets people out of boredom. But for cons, it's yeah, obviously it's costly, and sometimes like people become too emotional.
Yes, people become too emotional. Hi, Barry. Welcome.
What's up? What's up?
Not much. Doing a podcast. Welcome. We're talking
Wow.
about civil wars. Did 385 ever had a civil war?
Yeah, it lasted like 2 days though.
Do tell.
No, so when we had a merger, our nation wouldn't agree to making a super alliance, so it got a little hectic. Where my alliance was kind of carrying the nation, it was a bunch of like farmers, like just kind of not doing anything, a lot of high BP, and it started frustrating all the guys in my alliance. So they started kind of trying to enforce some rules without asking, and they hit a city, and the city that they hit wasn't in a main alliance, but before the guy touched down because he slowed walked it, the person put it in a main alliance, and when it got hit, the report came out, and one of the players, the bigger players from their alliance, decided to hit somebody from my alliance, and it turned into me turning around and smacking somebody in their alliance, and it just became civil war, and it
For 2
lasted
days.
Yeah, for 2 days. It lasted, and then I kind of was just like, you know what? I'm not really trying to deal with this. It wasn't like bad on our end. I mean, we were having a lot of fun with it, but I don't really want to play in a civil war type vibe. So I stopped it a little early. Should have probably let it play out just a little bit just to drop some BP, but 2 days is definitely, I mean, it could fracture your whole nation. I like winning the events, and usually civil war creates losses. So I stayed away from it.
Well, Camel loves it when we are in civil war because if there's a civil war, everybody is spending more. The
Yes.
people who wouldn't spend, they were spending on buying bubbles, buying gold. The people who do spend, they have to double it because now you're using speeds to attack the enemy alliance and you have to save speeds for the events. So either way, Camel loves it when we have a civil war. It can be
Oh,
expensive.
extremely expensive. And then you lose a lot of like solid players sometimes because a lot of big players don't like to play Civil War. Like they like it for a little bit, but it gets old to some. It gets old and they end up just like giving away their game, I guess, so to speak. I don't want to say it in a different term, but yeah, they end up just leaving. You end up losing solid people, solid guys. So I mean, in turn, sometimes it kind of negatively affects your nation more than positively. That's just my
You were gonna
opinion.
you were gonna say something, Leo?
Yeah, just whenever like for example, since they have done Void War like on weekly and bi-weekly basis, people are getting out of the game, and when the Civil War started, people came back who have left like to join us to start playing again because that was 24/7. They could zero anybody. That's like reinvigorating gameplay the way they joined it for to kill people. But when, as I said, we are a peaceful nation, players starting leaving or didn't have the heart in the game anymore.
Yeah, so Civil War, if it drags long enough, it can hurt the nation. Like in the beginning, it's so fun, exciting. You feel your blood, you feel the adrenaline. But then after a
Yeah,
while,
definitely.
let's say it's already been 3 months, you have already zeroed everything. I mean, for some people, they probably zeroed everybody in within a week or in 3 days, depending how hard on you're being on the Civil War. But after a while, there's nothing to kill. They all have bubbles, and it's now boring.
Yeah, definitely. As
Um,
Coalition mentioned, like depends on the troll level too. If it's a C38 or is there like small cities, ours was like just one city left, so it wasn't fun anymore.
yeah, so it stopped being fun after you zero Naruto, huh?
I can't mention that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't wanna get what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't.
Banned. banned, YouTube
Yep.
flagged by him if I mention his name. So let's say the name that shall not be mentioned. We
Yes,
don't talk about
definitely.
it.
Bruno, we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah, and I don't want to get copyright, so let's not sing the song. Next question, because time is running. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we already went through how to start one and how to end one, but not much about how to end one. I mean, how to start one, is basically somebody gets mad, somebody doesn't want to follow the rules, somebody gets hit, or somebody announces it like, hey, we're gonna have civil war or whatever. But how can you end one? Let's say, like Polo says, communication is key. You can, communicate it. But what happens if the person does not want to listen? What happens if they don't want to communicate with you and they just want to keep going? What do you do? What do you say, Polo?
Kill 'em. You gotta kill them. If they're not gonna talk and they're not gonna work things out, then there's no other choice, I would think, right? You have to burn the city. Right? If someone's not gonna talk to you, what other choice do you have?
I mean, what if they give you conditions like, well, give us this and that and we'll stop? What if you don't agree with it? I mean, yeah, kill them, but I guess if they put conditions.
Now, what's that? Repeat. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Let's say the player puts in conditions. You don't agree with the conditions. I mean, you're gonna keep going with the civil war, right?
Well, I mean, if they're putting conditions, that means they're communicating, right? And if they're communicating, then you can probably find a common ground. So I guess it depends on what those conditions are. If they're too far left or right, and you're not going to be able to find or close that bridge, then I guess you just keep fighting. But I think if someone's setting conditions, that means that they're at least willing to talk, right?
Right. Leo,
But if they're going to be
how do you?
too
Oh, sorry.
stubborn, then you don't really have a choice.
The answer is always kill them. No mercy.
Like you said, that's usually the final answer.
You were gonna say something, Leo?
Oh no, I was just gonna say like words are most powerful when used right, and most of the civil wars is caused due to the translation of our game that's very bad, and therefore I try to like reason with them. That's the only thing, like trying to make them understand the rules were set and you guys agreed to it, and this is the consequences you're gonna have to bear.
Unless it's
Yeah, but
Bruno, right?
unless it's Bruno.
Oh, he has been put to place.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, you should have put him in place long ago. You took too long.
You know, I told you we're a peaceful nation, so
Yeah. I mean, you made it work out. You made it work out. But as I mentioned before, Camel loves it when we have civil war. So the whole translation, I think that's just their part of just, get people riled up and get into civil war to make more money, right? It's all part of
definitely.
it's all part of the big plan, the big Camel plan. All right. Roxy, did you ever ended a civil war before?
Just started on.
No, you're the starter, huh?
Yep.
Just starter, never the enderer. Is that even a word?
Well, I mean, I thought it was over, but people hold on for a long time in their dead cities and keep healing back to 7 million BP with the little Titan traps, But it all depends on how long the war goes, and if there's any redeeming quality in who it is that you're at war with, right? If they can come back, if they're willing to communicate, then that's always worth exploring. If they're just digging in, that can, like you said, after a while just become shields. You kill one every once in a while, lose a few if one of their remaining is strong at all, and then people start to quit. So
Yeah. Unfortunately for us, We kind of do have a civil war, right? In 52. Would I consider that a civil war with SS1? I don't know. I
Yeah,
just keep my shield up.
it's a civil war. I mean, you get killed any day, any time, right? So yeah, it's civil war.
Yeah, all right. Next
They actively fight
question.
against
Oh,
us and bleed, and yep.
I mean, Jay did try to talk to them, but no, they don't wanna. They don't wanna bite. Okay,
They
next question. What's a good nation leader? So basically, the person that implemented the rules, I guess, or the voice of the main alliance, the one everybody looks up to, the one that can, if these two are fighting, can make it stop or make it worse. I don't know. Do you guys have, and you can give them a shout out to your nation leader. I'll start with Coalition. Do you guys have a nation leader? Who's your nation leader? Give them a shout out. And is it important for a nation, or what is it? Or you can define it about a nation leader.
Oh, I'll give a shout out to DSM. So, since he created foundations which help SYN and 219 to continue operate in the ways they have to. So, I'll say a good nation leader would have to understand the game well and makes decisions based on results and performances. So, just like in real life, when an organization starts to underperform, and it's spoiled by the so-called friendship because that keeps incapable players. However, from what I've seen from DSM, he's made decisions based on performances, not on friendship or other factors that cause conflicts of interest. And I think that has kept 219 maintain its strengths. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss DMS. He's a great guy. Great guy.
DSM.
Love him. I thought he retired. Or he's still lingering around.
He like how should I say like when there's a company, like there's a CEO, but like behind the CEO, like like the like behind the CEO, there's like a founder. So yeah, he acts like the founder. So and he's always like he still gives us advice, and yeah. So not sure if I should call him retired, but yeah.
And I think he's
Yeah.
on his fourth retirement, so I'm expecting a fifth and a sixth.
He's a great guy. Great guy. Love him. What about you, Polo? Are you the nation leader? Is Cocaine Bear the nation leader of 269? Is everybody gonna get free cocaine dust,
Well, yeah, come to Atlantic City this weekend, and there'll be plenty of free dust. Not kidding. But seriously, in Atlantic City this weekend. But I don't know if I'm necessarily the quote unquote nation leader. I like to think a good leader has good leaders with him. So, like my alliance, UBN, I have a great team of R4. They do great work.
So shout
So
out to
I
the
don't.
R4s.
R4s of UBN, amazing work. And so I think as a team of leaders, we do a lot of work, and we're the nation leaders. But I think just because me as the Cocaine Bear, as the leader of you, I'm the target of attacks from trolls, right? Does that make me a nation leader just because trolls like to complain about the Cocaine Bear all the time? Maybe, but I think it's more of a team effort.
It is a team's game. It's all about the team. All right, Leo. 255. Who is the nation leader? Shout out to them.
Oh, definitely, that's my grandma Snooze. She's the nation leader.
Who's Grandma Noose?
Snoozely.
I thought it was Baby Oracle.
Yeah,
Is it not
that's
Baby
her
Oracle?
killing machine. That's her killing machine.
Oh, so who's Luz? I never heard of her. I thought Baby Oracle was like the 255 nation leader, but
She,
she's just the killer.
she she's the killer. She talks to everybody, but like Snooze, that's why I call her a leader. She delegates stuff and no micromanagement, and she's very reliable and listens to everybody. Like all alliances are looking out forward to her and all the rules and stuff like that.
Interesting. Well, shout out to Grandma Luz.
Yeah.
For us in 52, we have Mr. J, Unknown, and Sayez. Sayez was like the biggest leader, but without the team, the R4s like Oxy and I and everybody else, it's just you can't make it work. A leader cannot work by himself. A leader needs a team to make it work. Because if a leader is doing everything without help, it can become too much. Because as a leader, you have to communicate with people, you have to set the rules, you have to put everybody online, meaning check that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Like, is this happening, or is everybody doing everybody's bubbled, or everybody doing the right formation, stuff like that, like little things, but a little bit goes a long way. And usually when there's an R5, let's say it's an R5, because sometimes the leaders usually are R5s, they're doing everything for the nation. They decide to quit the game because it's too much. It can become too much because too much stress, too much time being given to that instead of having fun in the game. That's why we say being an R1 is better than being an R4 and R5. If you're an R1, just stay R1. Don't ask to be in this position that we are in. But someone who gets overworked as a leader, they quit the game faster than a farmer that you zeroed. So if you have a nation leader, send them some love because they need it, and tell them you appreciate them. Unless they suck. If they suck, just keep burning their flags. And if that's one of you guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I really agree with what you said. Like, this game is a war game, but it's weird because, like a very capable R4 or R5 tends to retire earlier than farmers that have been zeroed for so many times. Like, farmers are
I
actually like the zombies that actually appear in the game. Like, they never die. Like, even after getting zeroed, like, they come back with their troops.
know, right? They just don't leave. I guess we have to make them
Yeah, like,
R5s so they can leave. Give them the
well,
that stress of being R5 and R4. Like, do all the work and see how faster you will quit.
maybe
Yes,
maybe
Mr.
that
J,
could be something
farmers'
we can
lives
try.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, something we can try. All right, let's go to the next question. We're almost done. And then, oh wow, only an hour passed. I feel like a long time has passed, but it has not. But it's okay. We got plenty to talk about and many questions to answer later. Let's see. Does anybody want to comment more on the nation leader, or we're all good? Okay, guess we're done with that topic. All right, I think we haven't touched much on what makes a nation leader a bad leader. Does anybody have any experience having a bad nation leader? Anybody can answer.
Yeah, I guess a bad nation leader would be someone who just doesn't listen to people. I mean, that's probably true in many respects, but and someone that doesn't know how to talk. Like I know it's a game and people get heated sometimes, but some people just don't know how to talk to people. They have no self-awareness how they come across. Maybe it's a translation problem, but I don't think so. Maybe sometimes there is a translation problem. I just don't think that some people just don't know how to talk to people. Does that make sense?
I mean, some people are not sociable or don't have the social skills to talk to somebody, I guess, right?
Yeah, right.
Coalition, when you were in 186, did you had a bad leader or did you experience a bad leader?
Back in 186, well, right. The reason I'm laughing is, well, 186 went through merger once, right? So after merging, we pretty much had Edwin from 188 as nation leader, and he was good. And guess what? Before any mergers for 186, we actually had this troll guy called Rother as a nation leader, and actually he wasn't bad, but yeah, that. But
Are you saying
Rother, and you know
Rosser,
why I'm
the
laughing?
great Rosser, is a
Yeah,
bad leader?
well, he wasn't bad, but you know why I'm laughing,
We're joking, Rosser. We love you. Not me, but Coalition does. I'm joking.
Wow. Oh, I didn't say I love him, but yeah. But,
He's
yeah,
here for the
he
shout
wasn't
out,
bad.
he says. Shout out to Rosser.
He did keep asking me for a shout out, but I honestly didn't know that I'll mention him in this part of the channel.
Well, there you go. You got your shout out. All right, let's go back. Oh, Leo, did you ever experience having a bad leader?
Not actually. I was part of a very small alliance before that. The leader was good for that, but we had a little skirmish between other alliances, so I moved all of them towards him, and then at him we had Snoozely. And since then, I don't have any more of nation leaders, that kind of thing. There's Baby Oracle, there's STM. All are good people. I can't say anything bad about them.
Yeah, you can, because then they'll find you and burn you.
Oh, that's an open thing. They can do whatever they want.
Well, you guys are a peaceful nation, so it might
Oh
not
yeah,
happen. You're
yeah.
peaceful. You never know. It will come hitting out of nowhere that something happens and they, oh wow, we're all at war. It has happened. One day I wake up, everything is peaceful, and then I wake up, it's like, oh, we're in civil war. I mean, that was like in
The
the
best part,
early times in the game.
I know. All of those are my friends right now.
Enemies becomes friends. It happens.
Yeah, the best thing is to stay skinny. You don't miss your troops.
There's nothing wrong being chubby, okay? If Oxy was here, he's the jelly belly of the group.
Uh,
Because Miss Oracle said that he was too fat. We couldn't use him for the TA against 219. Great times, great time. Right, Coalition? You guys did not want to hit Oxy.
Definitely.
Too fat. Mr. Jelly Belly. Alright. How do you work together if everyone hates each other? I guess this is more into civil war, but sometimes there's no civil war. You can be a peaceful nation, but you hate each other. You can't stand the person. You gotta make it work, right? So do you guys have any experience of a person or alliance that are difficult? And what do you do to make it work? I'll start with Polo.
Well, like I said, we came from 234. We merged into 269. In 269, I don't know if they defined as a civil war, but I think two of the main alliances hated each other. So what we did was we merged into one of them. Obviously, UBN took over leadership, and then we took over communicating with the other alliance, and we just resolved all problems. And eventually, we also merged with that alliance as well. And now everyone's just playing together. So it worked out for us.
What about you, Coalition? Because somebody says don't say it, so say it.
No, I don't have anyone telling me about that. Well, on 219, we don't hate each other, so it's all good. Just kidding. Well, so I actually think that it's a matter of time for people to reconcile. So for example, in SYN, there's a group of people that used to hate each other, but they're getting along quite well, and John and 219, right? Well, yeah.
Oh,
If
Third
you
Alliance, right?
if you look at John as well, like you see a group of people that used to hate each other and blame each other on NC so much, but now like they're in the same team. So So regardless of what alliance, I think it's a matter of time for people to eventually reconcile and maybe come to and maybe come for same causes. So yeah, I guess it's a matter of time, and people can always talk to each other, and yeah, eventually, but in either way, it's gonna get solved.
Yeah, like if you guys want to play the long game, you gotta make it work. You gotta work together and, you know, hold hands and sing the kumbaya, you know?
Yeah, kumbaya. I know.
The kumbaya, the famous kumbaya. It's all we do. Leo, what about you?
Yeah, as Coalition mentioned, like we played this game to win Void War and external events. Like everybody should come on like common objectives and shared goals. So having these rules, like for example T4, we are trying to do that. So it reduces our time in purging before that and wasting our eyes on finding internal farms and cities that have troops. We spend more time on killing other nations. So these rules definitely do work with them and trying to make them understand like these are clear rules and they should expect us winning because we've been losing quite a few void wars just because of bleeding points and we still can't get all of them to one page.
But you're still peaceful nation?
That's why there are so many farmers here.
I mean, I'm sorry. I just how do you manage to stay a peaceful nation for that long and still make it work for an event, but then you're kind of lacking on the other events, but you still rather stay peaceful? Why is that?
That's the sacrifice we had to make to win global conquest. That's the gist of
The
it.
global conquest is over. Do you plan to keep it that way until the next conquest?
Not really. We are forcing them to, for example, right now, the T4's been implemented. Now the next step is to reducing the academies per main alliance. So we are working on that one right now. And then so on, we'll try to just merge all of, like into a good group instead of all are fragmented all over the nation.
Polo, is that also kind of going the same way with your merger plans?
What do you mean?
Like, you guys have academies, you guys are planning to do T4s and, make it or break the rules, we'll zero you, purge.
Yeah, I mean, like we're loosely defining like what types of alliances there are, like combat alliances for Void War, academies. I think only like really top alliances should have academies. Like, what does a farmer alliance want to have an academy for? You want to train people to be farmers, right? Um, so just defining what all the alliances are, that's what we're kind of doing now, and just trying to make sense of it all. And then everyone else that's not like a defined alliance is T4. And hopefully there's going to be enough cities to have fun in burning after we merge, you know.
Aren't you excited for your merger?
Yeah, time went by fast. We had a month. Camel gave us a month before July 7th when they announced it. I thought it was too long, but we're already July now, so yeah, it'll be exciting. It's exciting that we're putting the top two alliances together, so it'll be cool to see what we can do. I just hope the rest of the nation follows the rule, but I get a good feeling about it. Everyone seems to be pretty cooperative so far.
That's great. That's great. I'm excited to see how it all turns out once you guys merge into each other. I know it's 242, right? You're getting merged into,
Yeah,
or
242. Yeah, that's
they're
where
merging into
it's
you.
taking us
You're
from.
becoming the new 269, right?
Yeah, they're coming into 269. It takes 2 to 69. Yep.
Yep. That's Chicken and Baxter's Nation, right?
Chicken and Baxter are both in the top alliance in 242 called VIP. A guy named Boxer is the current leader of VIP in 242.
He's the current leader? I thought Chicken would be the leader.
They had to resolve the Civil War in 242. The two, I guess, alliances that were fighting each other, they merged together and resolved their issues. And one of their agreements was that a leader from the other alliance would become the leader of their new alliance. That was one of their conditions. Yeah, I mean, Chicken is probably one of the most knowledgeable players in 242, and he's going to be in UBN after the merge, right? That's just the way the dice roll for them.
All right, I'm looking to see if there's any questions from the audience here. Nikki's just taken a step back. Do you guys have anything that you want to add, sort of based off of everything that we've talked about today? Anything that you think that the audience might need to hear? I know, and I say that because we do have a lot of people who listen to Nikki's podcast that come from worlds that are younger than yours. And so they could really benefit from having the experience of people who've played this game for years, and you guys have all you've gone through everything that they've gone through, but enough times to know sort of what not to get fooled by.
Yeah, I think one great advice would be don't upgrade your green officers.
Yeah, and don't upgrade your Medici brothers either, right?
Yeah, nothing of those.
It's crazy how even today, and us being the older nations, we still find people that have those officers upgraded.
Or people who like live and die by butterfly.
I haven't heard anyone name Butterfly in probably 2 years.
It's been a while, eh? We still get that once in a while where someone's like, "Can I just use butterfly?"
Well, that's funny.
I do want to touch on something that Coalition said before, where he was very sort of logically saying, you know, like I did lose a lot of friends, but at the same time, like after all that was said and done, like the nation came out ahead. And I think that's something that people definitely have to weigh when they're playing this game. Like, you can't be friends with everyone if you really have that competitive edge and you want to win, because sometimes you're really just going to have to burn your friends because dead weight is dead weight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Really agree, and I think many others agreed, which is why like we turned on the mic at the same time.
Go ahead. Coalition, go ahead.
All good.
Yeah, definitely. Coming from a small alliance towards the big alliance, I did lose some friends. Like playing more than a year and him, I did see some people leave because of the Civil War. Either they got hit and got zeroed, and they had no more motivation to play along. And that does give motivation to your enemies too. Oh, look, you're losing players, and something like that. But then again, building on that, you do get more players that are more willing to play a longer game.
Yeah, if you want the nation to progress and your friends are farmers, it's best to just leave them behind. Because we all want to win. It's a team's game. Most importantly, we want to win, right?
It's a very expensive teams game too, I think. And I appreciated where Polo was saying like a lot of the times communication is key, because I think people, they don't understand that spenders sometimes will spend thousands of dollars on an event, and all it takes is someone to make like one careless gesture and it throws all that down the drain. And if you communicate that, it might still happen, right? But at least you can reach out to more people for them to be a little bit more careful. Like, yeah, I do want to have fun and I can still have fun. I just have to be careful that like there are obviously people who spend way more money than I do, and I kind of got to play within those rules, because this is a pay to win game. Let's not lie about that.
And also to add more, like I think like Well, this is not a case for my nation, but for some nations, I think this can become problematic when, for example, like there's Farmer A, and Farmer A has the, is a good friend with a mega spender B, and when the mega spender like he says, "Oh, you don't hit my friends," then I think this is where like, the nations kind of goes wrong, because that will lead to farmers being protected and like what was just mentioned, like spenders spend so much to win, but when those farmers who drop shields or make careless mistakes are protected, then spenders will lose motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
Right, and that's like they absolutely carry the nation to win. And the last thing you want to do is to demotivate the people who try so hard, both with their time and with their money, to bring the nation to victory.
And due to that, it lands into the whole, oh, we're gonna have a civil war. Because sometimes some nations, either they're number two, they're number three, or they're number four, or both, all three, keep failing in, keep a shield on, don't do reckless attacks or reckless defenses, and you see that your nation is winning, you're pushing through, but then there's that, they screwed up or you screwed up, but still, you're the main fighting alliance. If the academy or the second alliance or anybody else does like a bad defense or a bad trap, the enemy gets the points, and now you guys are losing. And sometimes there's no way to counter that, or there's no way to get those points back. And that's why if you're a nation that's been going through that a lot, there's no way for you to stay peaceful. I mean, I have seen some nations, they can stay peaceful and just work it out, communication and all that good stuff. But wouldn't having a civil war be beneficial? Because like if they keep doing it every event and you keep talking to them and that talking is not working, then shouldn't you guys have a civil war and just kill everybody? Hello?
Yeah, I think we've mentioned this before. If someone's not going to listen to you, if they're not going to communicate, they're not trying hard, then what's the last resort? Or maybe not even the last resort. You're just going to kill them. That's all. I mean, that's what this game is. This game is more fun when we're burning things. So if
Oh
someone's
yeah.
going to give us a reason to burn them, then they're going to be burned. That's all. If they're not going to talk, they're going to be stubborn. Then that's what will be happening. But at least from my perspective, that's more of a last resort, right? Because I kind of like inter-nation peace and concentration on events, right? But I can see how civil war happened so many times because of all the problems that happened.
Because people can be stubborn and they don't want to listen. Right, Leon? Just keep it in peace until it just not work out anymore, or you think everybody's gonna listen and you're gonna be peaceful for a while.
No, we just keep a tab on people who are like constant bubble droppers and like 2 or 3 chances. Then we definitely zero them. Like same with 219, we have a very hard void war with them, and we lost 2 from them with a very tiny margin from a mistake from some farmers.
And you already zeroed them, or
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're zeroed.
coalition?
Hey, hello.
Remember Fang? Remember that frenzy we had, and you had a player named Fang in your alliance, and
My alliance.
he drops the shield.
Yeah, he did that 2 times. So he did that when he was in GBF, and that was in November. And he also did that in March or April, and back then he was in John. And yeah, he did that on purpose just to get points himself. And besides that, besides Fang, we also had this troll called Confrix. He also dropped shield on purpose. He actually admitted that, and both of them. If you look at their BP, like you'll see that they've been trimmed.
Yeah, I'm still kind of I can't I can't forget that if I had somebody else come with me during that one attack against Fang, we could have won the frenzy. Close one. It was funny that after the frenzy and he said that, yeah, I did that to get points, like being selfish, that you were telling me that you guys decided to zero him completely.
And speaking of that, that's the point when I like quit spending so much time into frenzy, because it's pointless for me to spend money and time, especially when players like him they drop shields on purpose and outscore people that actually work hard.
Yeah, but frenzy is for funsies. Just make a TA plan and just play TAs or TDs. Oh, but with the new towers, we can, you can play around with the towers now. Maybe you can get free, easy points from those towers.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Alrighty then. So we are done with the questions we had planned out. Does the chat have any more questions? I see that Abdul Rahim was saying how to destroy 693. Do you guys have any advice in how he can destroy his nation 693?
I have absolutely no idea anything about 693.
Me neither. I'm sorry, guys. My knowledge in nations only reaches to the 300s. There's so many nations that I can't keep up.
Yeah, I think a new globe was just opened too.
I think, what was it, 1,000 now? Or if we're still in the 900s?
It's close to it. I think at least a couple days ago there was 2 new nations. I think high 900s.
Yeah, we're getting there. Here, I can check really quickly. We are at nation 960.
Wow, so 969 on the way.
I was thinking the same thing.
See, I can read your mind.
That's globe 12. They're on the 12th globe now.
Oh, so he's saying 693 is a locked nation with 2 huge spenders with 600 million BP. We have them as enemies. Oh, so he wants to know how to beat
Oh,
them.
is that Chinese server where I feel like I always see pictures of those 2
Cristiano
big
Ronaldo?
guys?
Is it the Cristiano Ronaldo guy? The Chinese
I
Cristiano?
want to say like a tiger picture or something.
Tiger picture.
Yeah, I think that's
I
actually
don't
the
know.
same. That's the same server, I think.
He said yes.
693.
Yeah.
The tiger picture.
Yeah.
600 million BP city.
No, Ronaldo. It's the guy with the Cristiano Ronaldo picture.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the same. That's the same globe.
Oh, same globe.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about
Okay.
2 different things, but the same globe.
Yes, that's globe 8.
So he's wondering how can he beat this locked nation with a guy that has a BP of 6 million?
The tiger
I
guy
mean,
is not even.
600.
He's not even like first in the power ranking either, Polo. He's actually third. There's 2 other guys that are ahead of him. Like in that globe, the #1 power ranking is 694 million.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, and then second place is like the Ronaldo profile picture, and it's 613 million. The tiger is 560.
How many kills do those cities have?
Let me see. The #1 guy has 70.3 million kills. The #2 guy has 314 million kills, and then the tiger has 525 million kills.
So at least one of them sounds like a farmer.
Yeah.
Not that 70 million kills is little, but for like a city that size, you would think that they would rampage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would. Shit. That'd be so much fun.
Nah, they just want to recruit and bubble.
Yeah, that was a funny song.
Thank you. We're coming up with a new song for the next video. Um, we're gonna go Britney Spears with it, just to get everybody excited. It was a
I'll be
good
listening.
void. Yeah. But back to how to beat a locked nation. Have anyone dealt with locked nations? I don't think us old globes have reached to that.
But is this guy talking about beating them in a cross nation event? As in
Yeah, I'm guessing how to beat them in Frenzy, I'm guessing.
They're
Oh, I
actually
mean, like,
very easy to beat in
we
Frenzy.
always deal with monsters, right? If you can't kill a monster, you avoid the monster. You make them non-existent. You know, I remember years ago we faced 202 in Void War when we were 234, and Hulk was there in 202. Back when he was like, really active in the game, and we couldn't kill Hulk then, so we avoided him. We made him non-existent, and we killed everyone else. You know, I think that's how you beat a nation with huge monsters. You make the monsters non-existent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
I
ignore the monster, focus on the other alliances.
I feel like someone just joined us who's actually very good at answering the question on how to beat a locked nation. I believe him.
Easy. Hello.
He has a lot of experience playing against locked servers as someone who was in a newer globe.
Wait, what was the question? I just joined. I wasn't listening before that.
The question is, how do you beat a locked server?
In what event?
And just cross nation generally, I think.
Majority of fighting events, they don't push. Void Frenzy, they don't care for those events at all. And as far as like GC, they do have huge numbers usually in GCs, and I mean they do round 1 and 2, and they will just be packed. So just constant firepower, really.
Actually, now that I remember, when Lombard Nation had the void against what was it 467? The CP
457. 457.
467. Yeah.
457.
457, you're right. That was that is a locked nation. And I do remember they didn't care much for void. All they did was kill the farms and eat the resources of 285. That's all they did. They didn't care. They just wanted resources.
Yeah, like none of those nations really push fighting events at all. Most of them will be in some sort of civil wars. So the only fighting that they really care for will be in nation against other alliances. And they do really well in, events like DoD, events like GC, simply because they have numbers. A lot of them have, high city levels, good growth, a lot of strength, and they're able. The thing that makes Chinese nations pretty good is going to be the similar time zones. So they're able to get huge numbers, round 1, round 2, and call it a day. Like they don't even show up round 3 because most of the time they don't need to.
So how can his nation beat 693 in Frenzy?
Whose nation?
Whoever is going against 693, because he didn't say what nation he's from, but he is going against 693.
Just don't. I mean, I would probably say don't even push. We went against 693 and we lost by 50 million. It was extremely expensive because that was before they merged. They had nobody. Everybody was like that and under 20 million BP, and then you had 2 huge monsters who were just doing stupid, insane recruiting numbers. So against a nation like that, it's very difficult because they're not fat. They don't have a lot of BP that you can just go out and smash and kill things, and it's not really worth it, especially when you have like Ronaldo and the house guy. They're able to put like 3 billion, 4 billion easy in recruiting.
Yeah, that's what just happened. I think if I recall, I saw a picture. So in short, Abdulrim, just take a family day. Ignore frenzy. Just take a family day. Don't even try.
Thank you, Bob Wong.
Yep.
Yes, Bonbon, I'll buy more healings. I'm already on day 3 of my healing from the boy. I had a 16-day healing. I've been healing for the past 16 days. We're already on day 3. I
Do
suffer
we have
greatly.
any other questions from the audience?
Does anybody have any more questions before we end the stream? Whether you guys have a question for Coalition from 219, for Leo from 255, or the Tame Bear from 269. Any questions?
I actually do have a comment, and I want to say that when we consider someone peaceful nation, they're not peaceful. They're just very efficient at affecting consequences. Because all of these guys have said that they'll just zero people who don't follow the rules. Like some of us will then get into like long drawn out civil wars. I think a peaceful nation, quote unquote, is a nation that is very quick to like just burn and zero people, and there's almost zero backlash to it.
I'm not sure I can say Erwin's question.
I would not say Aaron's question. It's not related to the game.
But I can ask Coalition. He's from Korea. We should block Erwin.
Oh, the question I see is it true that Koreans love Americans? Well, I guess it depends on who the American is. And, well, yeah.
All the Coalition cares about is bunnies. Nothing about American wives. All he wants is bunnies and rabbits. And Rosser.
And not rather, bunny houses.
If you guys want to give a donation for Coalition for bunny houses, carrots, and hay for his bunnies, you may in the link below. The man needs food for his bunnies, if he has any.
Leo has to go. So I just want to say
Alrighty,
thanks.
Leo. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time talking to all of you guys. I always watch your videos, and it's always a good moment to
Oh,
learn more.
I wanted to say, Leo has a YouTube channel where he makes videos of 255. If you guys want to go and check it out. He has the one video of the name that shall not be mentioned of your great attack against Bruno. If you guys can go and give him a like and give it a watch, I'm sure Leo will appreciate that. But again, thank you for coming, Leo, and I appreciate you being a representative of 255. I'm sorry, I failed English.
Thank you
But
so much, everyone. It was nice talking to you. Had a great time. Looking forward to meeting you guys again. Thank you so much. Take care.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Take care.
YouTube link into Nikki's chat in YouTube.
Mine?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can just
post
put
your channel link in the chat.
so people can follow you too.
Well, while he does that, I guess if chat has no more questions from what I see, or what is that? Okay,
All right, it's posted. Thank you.
I think he posted it in Discord.
No, it's in the YouTube chat.
Okay, perfect. All right. Have a good day, Leo.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. So I see one last question from Rosser. What would you all class as the most important event to measure success? That's a good
Void.
question. Oh, look
Void.
at that. Look at that. Who just came by?
Got 10 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, perfect timing then.
Hey, that's not your usual greetings. You go, greeting everybody. This is Lumberg here.
I don't know if I'm like an hour and 45 minutes late, if anybody wants to hear that greeting. So
Why not?
Why not? That's your brand.
that's right. That's right. Well, when
Redo it.
when we're not on the air, Nikki, and the other ladies make fun of me. So they're pretty nice on air.
That
Yeah,
is
we're
But when we're off
nice.
air, you see the claws come out.
The cloth excuse me. I did my nails. Okay, don't be a
Well,
hater.
Lumberg's joining in. Not only is he joining in it late, but he's joining in with a lot of sass today.
Mm-hmm. That lunch party must have been great.
Yeah, spicy food.
Mm,
Okay, so we got
explains
10
it.
minutes. What do you think about this new frenzy thing that's going to happen since we've got 10 minutes to go?
I think it's going to be great. I've heard good stuff from Jack. So the defense and attack points being equal is, I think, is a good thing, and it will maybe revive what's like a bubble, search for a bubble boring event. But am I still going to take a laid back approach to frenzy? Yeah, but it should be. I think it prevents kind of people having to coordinate, like coordinated attack, defense, TATD. So I think this is a good way to do that. So I think it's good.
Yeah, so people don't have to recruit and bubble.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah, it's such a
excited.
damn catchy song. Okay, we're forgetting Rosser's question though. So I'll go by row. Bogizi, what class is the more important event to measure success?
I will say
Short and
void.
simple.
I will say void. But the strength of a nation, I will say GC.
Coalition.
So I think it depends on what the nation sets the goal as, but in terms of overall discipline, like if that is the measure of success for a nation, then I guess void. But in terms of overall strength, like what both said, then maybe GC. Yeah, but I think it really depends on what people's thoughts and what the whole nation's thought is.
Lumberg, do you want to add something to that?
I think it's the fishing event that determines the true strength of a nation. No,
Oh
I'm just
my
See,
kidding.
he
God.
came with
Oh my
sass
God.
and jokes. This
What
guy.
is this? What is this? You never show this sort of humor.
I know we need more of this lumber, not the here I made a spreadsheet about merges. Here's the analytics, accounting numbers and percentages. Blah blah blah. We need this lumber.
I agree. I agree to both points. Definitely void first and probably GC. Those are our nation priorities. And I also agree that I need to do less spreadsheets and have more wine.
This is why you join Nikki's podcasts.
Yeah, we have fun here, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, you better say that. We have a great time. All right, Paulo. Roger question.
Void. No, there's no
God,
question about it.
goddamn right. Void is the most important event out here. Not these non-losses events for you farmers. I'm joking. But yeah, I agree. I will say the same thing, Void, because I love Void, and I think it can be the most fun event if people start recruiting and bubbling. So I hope, maybe, hopefully, Camel can implement towers in Void. That would be interesting.
That would actually be amazing if they did that. It would be so much fun.
Yeah. But for GC can be fun as well, yes, because you're going against different nations and it requires a lot of strategy, a lot of time to it, and there's obviously a lot of fighting happening depending who you get in GC. So yeah, GC can be part of it. Frenzy, like I said, Frenzy is for funsies. Just have fun, take a family day, or just go around. If you find something, burn it. All right, I guess everybody agrees with that. So I'm gonna cut it short here. We're almost to the 2-hour mark. If nobody has any other questions or anybody wants to leave or not leave, don't leave yet. I mean, if anybody wants to say any last words or comments or anything, you may. The show is yours or the floor is yours. Is that how you say it? The floor is open? I don't know.
Yes, that is
I
right.
just I have one thing. I think you guys discussed this in my absence, but I think you all agreed that the most successful nation is 285. Just making sure and reminding people that that's what we talked about. Is that right?
I really think you need to drink more before you podcast or do anything. I don't think you should ever be allowed to videotape anything unless you're under the influence. This is like
I need you to send me your wine brand, whatever you're drinking, send it to me. I
this is
need
the
it.
best Wahlberg.
I'll start trying to convince my bosses to do that. If it increases my work productivity, I think that we may go with that. But
I think so, yeah. Like I think it increases your natural overall charisma, and I'm sure that motivates all your colleagues around you to work harder.
wait. Are you saying that normally I don't have charisma?
No, I'm saying that you have an increase.
That's what I heard.
Oh, I'm gonna
Greeting
request
everybody, Lumber
269.
here.
We're gonna request 269 for Void. I think they'll make me wait. There's no chance that's gonna happen. I think you have to be like number 1 and spend events for like 4 out of 5 events, and then you can choose your opponent.
Yeah, that'd be
With
fun
the
to be able to
sass.
choose an opponent.
Well,
I think
Polo,
one of our
just
VIPs did ask us, like, hey, which nations should I request? I did say 269, 255, or a rematch with 52. I did not say 219. 219 is tough. So 52 rematch would be painful but good. But I think we haven't
don't
played.
worry. If we do get a rematch, like you'll get another brand new song.
Oh yes, definitely worth it.
Yeah, we'll get a new song for TSK. It's gonna be lit. But if you guys go against Polo's Nation, I recommend blasting TSK song. Maybe they'll come out of nowhere.
It'll be a good match for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking about our nations being matched up for like 2 years, and it just never happens.
Let's make it happen.
Make it happen.
We'll start asking Camel, and then being ignored.
Polo, if it happens, I'll volunteer to make the video.
Oh, that'd be great. You'll never see me make a video.
Don't worry, you'll be the star. You'll be the star. We'll have Cocaine Bear singing and dancing to a song for TSK. I love 285. Okay, it's okay, guys. I love 285. Don't get it the wrong way.
No, you have many fans in 285.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got 5 more minutes. Anything else, guys? Or Lumber's gonna sass his way for the next 5 minutes, which I would love to hear it. What more sassiness that Lumber guy has. So, you got anything more else to add that wine?
I think the wine's running out. I think the wine's running out. We're done.
Someone's asking about the samurai skin on YouTube. What do you guys think about the new samurai skin?
Oh my god, I think it's so cool. But it's a cosmetic.
God.
It's now okay. Listen, Linda. In my opinion, I see it as a cosmetic. I don't see it as something you need. You don't need it. It won't give you a boost, from what I understand. It's just cosmetic. It will make your female Titan look pretty. I think it looks pretty. I want it, but I'm a cosmetic hoe. Okay, I love the
I guess
cosmetics.
it also helps with the overall stars if you want like that 5 or 9th star, right?
But wouldn't you have it if you already have the mechanical skin?
I think I only have 5-star on my mechanical. I don't think I really pushed that.
It's much easier to upgrade the skin levels if you have two different ones for two different events. They both add up, so it's easier to get a higher star.
Yeah, that's what my male Titan is higher, and that's how I did with the 2 different skins, just leveling it up that way.
So you're saying, Bodisi, you saying you have the skin already?
No, I'm speaking about male skin. Once you have 2 different skins and you do 2 different events, it's much easier to level up the overall star level, which gives you boosts. The boosts aren't worth it. They're not that good. But if somebody wants a higher star or like max Titans, and that is one of the things you have to max in order to have a max Titan, I mean, it's just going to be easier to get a higher star.
So Himiko asks, it's pretty, but not important, question mark. I mean, to me, it's not important. I mean, I'm not a mega spender, so to me, I only see it as a cosmetic. But as Bodisi says, having 2 skins can be beneficial. I mean, if you're putting the money into that, right?
Yeah, I also agree with Bo because, for example, like when you get to like certain levels, so let's talk about the source spirit, for example, like for maybe like for star 7 or 6, you need like 280 mecha fragments to get to the next star level. But for the samurai source spirit, like you need like maybe like less than 100 for the first few levels, so it's easier to level up and get to star level 9, and that will give you boost and energy guard skill, which is a good skill.
I have a good joke about, male 4-star skin, but we're not going to get Nikki demonetized. But I agree with. I agree with, the stars in a new skin allowing you to be cheaper, like Coalition and Bodisi said, to get started up. But let me get something really clear to people, because I've seen many people that have that fancy samurai, skin in the mines, but their LRA is less than 1,000. If your LRA is anywhere less than 1,300, I'm going to tell you the skin is not for you. Like, just forget about it. It's, as Nikki said, purely cosmetic and dress up, right? So it's from a cost to stat or benefit ratio, it's extremely bad. Really, you should be focused on other things. Yes, it's fancy, but we really shouldn't even be talking about it. It's just another skin. If you're somebody that already has a bunch of stars, you've spent a lot, and your stats are probably better. But if that's the one thing that you're going to get just to make your account look cool, that's not the way to do it. It's your money, though, so you spend it however you see fit. But I would highly recommend those players that have stats to improve to not waste money on a skin. It's not going to be cheap.
Well, I agree with what Anselmo is saying. My Titan is gonna slay with the new skin. Dale. I mean, hey, it's pretty. We're gonna slay these mines, but I'm probably gonna get beaten by guys from the 900 long range with better Titans.
That's how it be.
How it be. It's painful. It makes me sad. But can you imagine, like with poor me with small stats being with somebody with smaller stats just because they did the right thing to focus on Titans?
That's not the right thing. That's just the right thing for them to flex in the uranium mines, right? Like, it speaks nothing to how well in
But
their
still,
alliance.
Titans are still good. Having good Titans is a good thing. I mean, if you have higher Titans, your stats don't matter much, to be honest, right?
That is true, but the skins, they're the weakest thing about the Titans. It can get pretty pricey, and in most cases, it's not worth it. You're much better off going after equipment or talents and in some cases, Titan levels, but the skin is like the last thing because it's not good. It's expensive. It's not good. It's not worth it.
Tell him,
All right.
Bodizi. That's right. That's right. Preach.
We need to buy more wine for lumber for next time. But this is a really good conversation. Maybe in a different podcast, we can all come in together, hold hands, drink some wine, and maybe Polo will bring some cocaine with him, as always. And we can talk about the warplane and the Titans. I'm sure everybody will love that. But that can happen for another time because we're already past the 2 hour mark. So final words, I want to say thank you to everybody who joined. Thanks for everybody who joined late, but thank you for joining either way. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bodizi, Coalition. Thank you so much for your sacrifice and your sleep to come over because I know it's very early for you, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Sleep is for the weak.
Sorry?
Sleep is for the weak. Just kidding. I just kidding. I actually did consider, but having talked for 2 hours by now, I absolutely had so much fun talking to many other players from 255, 269, and also you, Nikki, Lumberg, and Yor, and Bodizi, and others. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I said, and like I say every time, every podcast, we're just having fun here. It's all about having a good time. Thank you, Polo, for joining us. And I appreciate that you told your nation that you were gonna be in the podcast, and I see that there's some of your nation people over in the chat. So I thank you all for tuning in. Did you had a great time, Polo?
Great time. Thanks for having me.
You're coming back.
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah,
After
if you
you-
want me back, I'll come back.
Yeah, after you merge, so you can talk to us about Two Nation mergers.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so
You
that's
can bring,
another
you can bring chicken
podcast.
on too.
Maybe we'll get more Two Nation mergers people, and then we can all talk about it, how bad or how good it is, or give it some time, because then you'll be busy doing flags for some time being. Or did you already settle about the flags?
I mean, we have an agreement on the territory, but we'll see how it goes. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
hiccups along the way.
Oh, there's always a lot of hiccups. But yeah, thank you, Yor, as always. My little pineapple was sick. And Lumberg, thank you for coming, even though you're a little tipsy, but we love it. We love our tipsy Lumberg. Oh, I guess I lost him. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you all who donated. Really appreciate it for the help. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in. Once the video is over, for those who need subtitles, give it a day or two. I'll post the link again saying that the subtitles are ready for you to enjoy the podcast with subtitles if you don't speak English. So give it some time. I'll post the link. Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Maybe the video for Void against 273 comes out. Maybe I'm working on it. Making little songs, short songs takes time. Trust me, it takes time. But it should be a fun one. So thank you all, and I hope everybody has a good weekend and a good frenzy. Say bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.